those that don't know me, my name is McCutchen. I've been a deputy with the Tahoe Sheriff's Office for about the last 23 years. I've been training jiu-jitsu since about 1999. I had a little MMA in there as well. But the main focus of my training, because I became a cop in like 2002, so I had like 3 years of training under my belt, and come in and just kind of see, you know, the state of what we were being taught to like handle ourselves in the street, and not accepting that. I'm not a cop yet, but I do know fighting, and I don't think any of this would work, at least the stuff that I was learning at the time. So I jumped in, basically made my focus of like trying to make that better ever since then. I became a instructor with the state of Washington in like 2005 and started running training for cops around then as well. I have since run my own jiu-jitsu academy, Kidra Jiu-Jitsu in Invictus, Washington, just north of Seattle. You're all welcome to come join us. We're on the Invictus site as one of the LEO-friendly gyms. We have plenty of cops that train there. I am a full-time trainer on my department. I run a program there, and we're also hiring laterals. Now, I can't promise you get to do what I do full-time, but what I can promise is I basically have a blank check for overtime, and you could be an ancillary instructor, meaning you could go get one of our like cush transit gigs that you don't really do anything, and then come on overtime, work for me, make some money. If you want some more information on that, come see me after my block. Happy to have you. I'm building an army, so let me know if you're interested in all that. But, you know, I don't know, it's been several years now, but I know Jason talked about it a little bit, but thinking I'm like the only one out there, like Sisyphus pushing the boulder up the hill, solo, right? And then suddenly we all kind of learned about each other and networked, and now it's like, now we have like 10, 15 dudes that push the boulder up and then it rolls back down anyway, but at least it's less work as we're going through it, right? But this has been my passion basically my whole career. I'll probably retire in the training unit, because if they make me go back to patrol, I'll just retire. But it's what I live for. And so we're gonna get into some side mount escape stuff. Ari called it ultimate, he called it sport, and he called it gi. I will tell you, my jiu-jitsu is like, I try and get it to fit many molds. I've competed, I'm not a competitor. I've fought, not a fighter, okay? I train both gi and no gi, but I don't rely on the gi at all. Okay, so I don't know about ultimate, it's gonna be okay-ish. Sport, sure, it has application there, I guess, right? It's just jiu-jitsu to me, it's all the same. And gi, it won't matter. If you didn't bring your gi or whatever, it's still gonna work just the same. I don't rely on gi grips or anything like that. So. The apt title, I was like, yeah, that's me. That's the one for me. Let's give me that one. The other thing I'm going to do is like run it a little bit different, okay? I'm the last one of the day, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So you guys might get a little tired, okay? Just the way I do things a little different, but it's going to be okay. You're going to like it. Anyway, so Steve and I are going to demonstrate how to do this game. We're going to start essentially like turtle to turtle, right? This is a scramble drill that has some certain rules to it, okay? Our starting position is this, okay? We reach over, we're gonna find that far instep, low in the ankle. Here's the rules to the game. My objective is to make it to my feet while elevating Steve's legs, okay? I cannot stand unless I'm holding his leg. So I can't let go and then just stand and then grab his leg as I'm up, okay? I can't stand unless I'm holding his leg. We're starting here, okay? But I don't have to stay here. This is just the starting position. I don't have to just go for this leg. I can immediately switch to this leg. It doesn't really matter. It's a scramble drill. We're both trying to do the same thing. Okay? So this is our starting position. Ready, go, Steve.
Come on, Steve.
Just stand.
So I won that round. We'll set it up. We'll do it again. We'll run about 3-4 minutes. I got to give credit for this drill. It's Rob Cole. Does anyone know Rob Cole? He's a Northeast guy. Anyway, that's who I got this from. I got to give him credit. Yesterday, that quote that I used is actually from him. I said the wrong Rob, so I'll make that clear. So, once again, starting positions here. I don't need to stay here. We're scrambling, trying to win the battle, but I have to stand while holding my partner's leg, and I win by being flat on my feet, elevating my partner's leg. Ready, go. It has to be below the knee. No grabbing above the knee. all low leg wrestling. Good to go? Okay. So other ways you can do this game, we're not going to do it because I want to kind of get on with what I'm going to cover the main point of it. We can be back to back, right? And again, I cannot stand until I have possession of his low leg. He can't stand until he hits mine. So we can go from here. Go.
Go, Steve.
Come on, Steve! Come on, Steve! This happened last year, too. And I found just creative ways of escaping bad positions by just attaching to the low leg. You know, people go knee on belly on me now. I don't even care. That gives me their low leg. I'm going to use it to come up. North-south escapes. I'll let him get in deep on me. I'll reach, I'll grab it, and I'm using it to come up. So, use your imagination. Get creative, right? I forgot to mention I also teach for C4C PJJ. And when I run those courses, I often talk about, hey, if you're doing something that feels weird, right? I don't teach weird shit. So, okay, here's the count. Today, I'm going to teach some weird shit. Okay? And you're going to be like, what? Because I kind of want to break the mold of what people think of like what's possible in some of these positions, especially if you really learn conventional ways of dealing with this, right? So, one thing I like to discuss, if Steve's trying to control me in a bottom situation, right? Let's come up with some principles of what he needs to kind of maintain to own me and keep me pinned. What do we think? Pressure, okay.
Inside position.
He needs inside position. What does that mean? Underhooks, okay. What's like the classic own side mount with inside position look like? Crossface underhook, right? So he's got me here. So what is Steve controlling with this configuration? He's got my head. My shoulders are pinned with chest-to-chest pressure. Sometimes that pressure is like the pressure may or may not be necessary, okay? But this is the kind of situation. No, he's got total inside position on me, okay? And what has he done with my shoulders? He's flattened them, right? What do we think about that? Yeah, I will often kind of get into a discussion on when we're talking about peer control, right? Purely controlling another human being. Would I rather have them on their stomach or on their back? Just talking about control, nothing else. Okay? And if you have an argument for that, we look at wrestling or even judo. When is a wrestling match over? Pinned to the back. Okay? Do you think that's arbitrary or do you think there's a reason for it? Not rhetorical. Answers. There's a reason for it, right? Because there's no further domination of controlling your opponent than putting them flat on their back. There's nothing beyond that, right? If you put me on my stomach, I have options still. I would say combatively, that's more vulnerable when we're adding things like strikes, weapons, chokes, all that stuff. But we're talking purely about control, putting someone on their back flat, controlling their head, their shoulders, and their hips with inside position. That's his goal, okay? So when we try and recreate a way of dealing with this from the bottom perspective, what do you think I want to do? Not let him do those things. It's pretty simple. We're going to reverse engineer that process, right? I can't let him have inside position. I can't let him put him back on flat on my back, okay? I can't let him control my head, my shoulders, and my hips. If I can do those things, my chances of escaping, okay, are better, right? One thing we got to mention, right, is like there's no guarantees we get put here, right? We may not get out. There's plenty of times I get buried underneath somebody and can't get out, right? A mutant like Cam, where are you? It's like a cigarette machine falling on top of you. You're just stuck, right? And really, then it just becomes about like surviving, right? And I just wait for him to make a mistake and try and find an opening, okay? So one thing that we're going to kind of do just to get where I want to go, right, is we have to understand base, posture, and structure. What do I mean when I say that? Structure in this instance is going to be how am I controlling the inside position, okay? And then what? Posture is what? The orientation of my spine, right? We often talk about it like it got talked about during Chad's block from an offensive perspective to eliminate 2 out of 3 from an angle for a takedown, right? But there's an exchange we have to understand. If I compromise my base structure, posture, while taking away his, I've lessened my chances of success, okay? The same thing goes with escaping bottom position. If I'm affecting his, but I've compromised myself, I'm going to have a hard time getting out, okay? So the first thing I just want to discuss, right, is this idea. We're going to kind of start from the top, and this is going to be a pseudo solo drill, but mainly I'm just going to infomercial this part, and then it's going to be partner practice in just a moment, okay? But this idea of getting to this position, this is strong for escaping. If I can get here and I can get my head higher than my opponents with good base posture and structure, meaning I have some connection of inside position, and I can get to here, chances are I can escape or I can get up, okay? So if I can get here, this is gold, right? And if I move in this position because I want to clear space to make that happen, it has to be something like this. The big key here I'm going to talk about is keeping my head forward to my hips, because that guarantees that I have good posture, right? So if we just kind of move in a solo space and I do that, I'm diagonal posted, meaning I got right foot, left hand, or left foot, right hand. I keep my head forward to my hips because if I'm rocking back like this, I don't have good posture, okay? And if I need to use my head, or I need to frame hard into somebody, or post into them, I need that forward posture in order for it to be successful, okay? So just demonstrating with a hand post, that's what it would look like. That is also how we can get to a neutral or standing position, right? If I'm on the elbow, because maybe this is the only space that I get allowed, I have to be able to utilize the space that's provided. I have to move in the same manner. Diagonal post, left foot, right elbow, and I can move my hips back to the post of my elbow, and I got to keep my head forward if I'm going to switch sides, okay? And then lastly, we talk about using the shoulder to post, okay? Could be shrimping, could be various other things that we may utilize in order to escape the position. But again, I'm diagonal posted. This foot has to be planted. I drive over the point of my shoulder, and I need to make enough clearance that I can draw this arm all the way underneath me. That could be to create a fulcrum because I'm wearing gear. That could be just because that I have to take advantage of the space I'm allotted, and I want room to move my hips where they need to be. So this could be to supine heist out of a bad spot. This could be the beginning of building height, where I go shoulder, elbow, hand, and then I'm able to get up. So this is the partner drill we're going to run. Keep that in your mind, okay, about how I just executed it. Just a robot grappling dummy for me. Like I just got double legged. I don't care what sort of connection you make to your partner, it doesn't matter. All he's going to do is act like a bulldozer, and he's going to keep moving forward. And I have to establish good base, posture, and structure, and I'm going to work my way and heist out of position, and we'll switch roles. So it looks like this. Ready, go. He goes back down now. It's Steve's turn. Same thing. I'm just going to give him some good pressure where if he doesn't do the right thing, he's going to have a hard time getting up. Ready, go. I like how I made the knee look like an accident.
Sorry, man.
Okay, it doesn't need to be so hasty. In fact, if you can do it slow, that's better. Okay? Really using them and their energy to start building up. So I go shoulder, elbow, hand, and get out. Get your hips back, and then switch roles. Right? And this is not in context, by the way. This isn't exactly how I would deal with this position. I'm trying to emphasize the base posture structure as we're building height. Understand that that's the goal of working this, right? And within that, if I'm building up and then I use Steve as my base point, could that be a problem? Okay, one, I might be able to use him to create space between us, but now I'm also relying on Steve not moving his leg, because that took away my base, okay? So keep that in mind. I'm not saying it's wrong, okay, but just understand the shortcomings of it. I don't know if he came up with this game, but I first learned this from Chad. I've kind of adapted some aspects of it to be my own, but I really like it, okay? Here's the game, and I'm not going to give you, here's what you can expect, okay? I'm going to show you the game. You can play the game within the rules. Figure your way out. And then I'm going to come back in. I'm going to talk about some things, right, that may help. And then we'll run it another time with those points in mind, okay? The game is this. I'm going to start out at bottom. I'm going to have 2 points of contact on Steve, okay? For this game, I cannot use my legs as barriers, meaning I cannot use them to impede Steve or recover guard or anything like that, okay? They can be used to support my base and movement, okay? Steve's objective to win this game is to get me crossface underhook and pinned, okay? In order to do that, he's got to control my head, okay? So the name of the game is basically don't let him control your head, okay? Steve can cross over mount, but he can't win the game from mount, so he can't stay there. He can cross around north-south, but he also can't win the game from there. So he can only use it as kind of a intermediary movement position with trying to capture my head, okay? So I'm going to try and use structure in my base and good posture to not allow Steve to win the game, okay? If he does get it, we're just going to reset with the same person down because I'll call for a switch. I really want to get some repetition on being this bottom person. Like I said, right now, we're going to cold shot this thing. I'm going to see what happens around the room, and then I'm going to talk about some points that may improve your performance during this game, okay? So this is what it can look like. Ready, go. Whatever. Steve's a little excited. It's okay. Give me the over the head. Keep going. Okay. So, I can assure you Steve's not trying his hardest. Nor do I want the top player right now. Understand this is for the bottom player. I do want you to try and win, but in the spirit of allowing the bottom player to work. Okay? So again, the rules are, I can't use my legs as barriers, but I need to keep Steve off my head. He wants me pinned from side mount with crossface underhook. Okay? If he gets it, we just reset. Assess your own performance, mainly from the perspective of the bottom person. Who found some difficulty in doing that? Like, okay, what were you finding difficult?
Just not putting my knees like a knee shield.
You just want to go to guard.
I want to move to catch him.
Fair enough. And mind you, this is not in context. Okay, the point of I'm going to iterate this later. I want you to get to a point where recovering guard is like too easy. You don't even want it because it's too easy, right? Because there's so much space, I can re-guard whenever I want. If you can get to that point, like you're getting really good at escaping this crappy position. Okay, so I understand it. I'm not trying to like train that out of you.
Sure.
Let's be clear on that. This is just trying to make a focus on a particular aspect of dealing with this position. So that's okay. Anyone else? Everyone else hit it flawlessly. I'm going to tell you it's not what I saw. Okay?
I was the only one to start with.
So let's be honest and we can have a discussion, because I promise you if you're having some struggle in this, someone else did too.
So it's just knowing when they start to transition, the timing of when to.
Good. Yeah. Okay. Was there anything that worked when that happened?
You're either on time or you're late.
Okay. We'll address that because I got something for it.
I would say like for me, like trying to figure out the trick of relying more on like your skeletal structure supporting him instead of using your muscle, because it's going to fatigue over the course of the round. You know?
Right? Did you find something that helped with that, or is it just what you experienced that you don't have an answer?
Yeah, no, I think like using more of a chest escape for separation to lock out your arm instead of actually
So I'm going to make a rule that addresses that specifically and addresses that.
I'll struggle by going for the underhook too much. Putting too much emphasis on like the idea of winning the underhook, and then you're not addressing the danger hand, the crossface hand or the right hook hand or whatever you want to call it. So,
Okay. And again, underhooking is not wrong. It falls in the same category as regarding.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
But
It's
when
just
you're
not
playing
what
that
we're
game,
focused on now.
yeah.
I found myself getting at least a little bit better when I started focusing just on structure and pushing away.
Okay.
And then addressing the different variations of moves laterally and trying to rebase on structure.
Anyone else? Go ahead.
Denying the head control. Like when they get it, trying to stay calm.
Okay.
Get the structure back in so I can get around it, out of it.
Okay.
Both of my hands.
What's that?
Crossing my hands.
Crossing your hands? There's a time when that's okay. Henry?
Going to getting flattened out on my back while I'm trying to transition sides.
Yeah.
Half a second there, I'm flat.
Okay.
It's not nice about.
It seemed like I was extending my arms more than I should have in the beginning until I started realizing that because not being able to use the legs, you started over relying on the arms and stretching them out. And then later on in the round, I found that like having them in a little tighter worked a lot
Perfect.
better.
Love it. So you guys are already taking some of my answers. That's why we do it this way. It means more when you come up with it than me telling you, believe it or not. Right? The emotional connection of you discovering that is better than me telling it to you. Who believes that? So one thing to consider, and this is something you can play with if you want before we start the game, right? But this idea of if I am going to be, side mounted, I'm going to just without taking the structure pieces out of it and how to position myself. Ideally, to address like what Henry said, I want this shoulder forward to the bottom one, and I want a good strong base point back here. Because now if Steve tries to push and flatten, right, I can deal with that better. I have more opportunity if I don't get back to my flat on my back and I can stay in that position, okay? So that's one thing that I will often do. And to address another thing that I saw, and to address things that I have done in the past. Traditionally, when I used to teach a side mount escape, where do you think I started it? Flat. Crossface underhook. Let's go from there. And then I would get frustrated when I'd have students that would compete and they'd start getting their guard passed. And they would go, maybe not get caught in the knee. And they'd go, I only know how to escape from here. So they would allow all that to happen. Right? When there was like a dozen things they could have done before that happened, right? So we definitely want to stop from being flattened. The other thing I saw is people going to the hip. What do you think about that? So I'm worried about him controlling my head, and I'm trying to keep space here. Okay? The key is focusing on this head side arm, right? Whether we take this into the sports arena, whether we take this into some sort of self-defense situation, whether we put a knife in Steve's hand, that's the hand that's going to be the biggest problem for me, right? If I'm controlling this one and Steve wants to punch me with the other one, he just made a mountain of space for me to get out, okay? If he's trying to punch me with this one and I'm connected to it, he's going to have a hard time doing that. If it's a knife or whatever, right? But also in the sport capacity, if I'm controlling this arm, it's very difficult for him to establish a position on me, even if he just passed my guard, okay? So here's some rules to play by now. To address one of the things, I don't necessarily want my arms locked out, but the rule is keep your arms greater than 90 degrees, okay? If I keep my arms greater than 90 degrees and I create a connection, okay, go ahead. And I focus on more or less redirecting this, I cannot stop Steve from moving, okay? That's gonna be a tough task. I'll allow him to move, but I'm gonna control where he gets to move. So when he takes this and he starts going over, what like Rob brought up, I will cross my hands at this point because I need to pass him over to the other side. Okay? I keep my arms greater than 90, and that's going to be effective anytime. So when he swings back around, I will cross him over again to make that happen. The other thing is I need this to happen below eye level. Okay? I need to be looking down towards it. If Steve's way up here, move your hips and everything. Yeah. This is going to get me flat. This is not productive for what I want. This is going to get me buried and have him take the dominant position. So, two things. One, if I get inside of 90 degrees, how can I create a better structure than this?
Brace on your head.
Brace on my head, absolutely. Okay, can you beat that? Grab my head, Steve. Come on, you want a jackpot. You can do it. Okay? It's not going to happen, right? And then how do I recover it from there? Again, can I rely on moving Steve? No. Okay, I gotta move me. So I'm gonna create like a ratchet effect. I have outward pressure with my arms, and I move me. Same effect if he starts getting too far north on me. Okay, if it gets to a point where I'm just gonna lose it, I just default. I just default to covering. Okay? I cannot allow him to grab my head, If he starts getting too far north on me that my frames become ineffective, I default to a better structure that can handle it. Doesn't get me out of here, but it keeps it from getting worse. Okay? So if one of those two things happen, as I'm controlling, I'm trying to keep it greater than 90 degrees, but he somehow starts powering in, I go here. And then maybe I can bail on that. Okay? I pass it over and I immediately got it back out. Okay? If he starts going to north-south, I may have to let him go north-south. If I don't know which way he's going to go from there, I've just defaulted here till he starts committing to a side. Now I know which one the head arm is. It's this one. I've already connected to it. So when he brings it around, I'm already ready for it. Okay? And I call this full body framing. Because where does this framework start?
Connection to the ground.
My connection to the ground, absolutely. Someone just said it. If I don't have solid base, structure, and posture while I'm doing this, I'm ineffective. Okay? Meaning, if we're doing this, and this foot's just floating, go ahead. I can't do a whole lot. I need that. It starts there. My whole body is committed to keeping this arm off my head. He starts going. Keep going. Does Steve get to move? Yeah, he gets to move to where I tell him though. Okay?
Pressure was just too much. Like when I'm on my side, they're just smashing me into the mat, and I can't do anything.
If you're on your side, the pressure was too much?
Yeah.
What
Pressure,
felt too much?
So I'm trying to escape on my elbow, right, and sneak it out this way. But as I'm framing here with my left hand, the pressure is just crushing me down.
Okay.
This way.
We're going to deal with that next. That's fine. Who else?
I keep putting my knee inside and taking my base off.
Pretty common.
Yep.
Right? Some of this stuff is just things you're going to have to play with, right? Still saw people going to the hip. Who went to the hip and was like, ah, shit, that didn't work very well. Yeah, come on, admit it. Yeah. Okay? We were all ingrained. I did the same thing for years until I was like, this doesn't make any sense at all to do that. I can't stop them. And most people, if I post up on Steve's hip as he's passing my guard, what does he do? Just pulls up on that arm, or he just pins my arm with his knee. And I'm like, that went from bad to worse, right? As opposed to, he's not going to have a lot of options if I keep him off my head this way. Okay? Go ahead. Relax. Nope. Get off me.
Just want to be close to you, bro.
Yeah. Get off. You, that works too. Verbal commands. Okay? You guys forgot all about that, didn't you? Just went into fight mode. Yeah. Who else? One more.
I was finding it's actually not a problem, but if you can get their hand to the mat and you can like cross post on it, it felt like I didn't even have to really like do anything. I could just roll up to my knees super easy.
Okay, so in the concept of base posture structure, how would you explain that?
Well,
where was their weight
your
committed?
Shoulder, like when you're talking about.
If their weight's in their hand, where is it not?
Yeah, it's on the ground.
There you go.
And then your shoulder's also in front of your rear shoulder, right? Like you were talking about when you're cross posting on the hand, right? Like you're like this, and then I don't even have to shrimp out. Like I could just tuck my elbow and then just like get up to my knees.
And we're going to cover that right now, and this will also solve your problem, right? It's like if we can't build height, what are our options? Okay, so that's what we're going to look at next. Because sometimes it's not possible. Sometimes the pressure is too much. I can't get to an elbow. I can't get up to my hand. I can't get my head higher than their head. So how do I deal with that? Okay. Any other things that come up that need to be addressed? Okay. Let's take a look at the next thing, which is just that, right? How do I establish that? So from my situation here, I know in C4C we just call this the A-frame escape, and that's all I'm really going to cover. But I want you to think about it conceptually so that you understand why it works, where it fits, and when it may not be available in his hand. So try and put your weight on me because I really need that. Yeah, the weight's on me. Okay, so. Is it possible to just come up to my elbow, come up to my hand, and get up that way? It's possible, but look what had to happen for that to happen. What happened? I had to push Steve off of me. Is that reliable? It's not reliable, okay? If I take Cam and try and do the same thing, he's not even going to move.
Doesn't, I tried.
Yeah. But if he's crushing me from this position, I have at least the width of my shoulders to allow space to move. Again, I talk about it. The concept is I just take what's available. This is what's available. Now, whether I get him to plant his hand or not, like if I can get him to plant his hand, that's great. Is it necessary? Not necessarily, right? If he's got weight on me, I just have to make sure that I use my shoulder to come out and do so at an angle. I want my hips out here, okay? Where you'll run into trouble is doing that, and now he just jumps on my back. Okay, he's been a good uke and trying to not make me look bad, but that's what probably would happen if we were going live, right? So that's why it's important to know how to take advantage of the space that's available so that I can come up to at least a neutral position. Okay, so we can work that next. This one, a little bit more like static drilling, just to kind of feel it, but off of our situation where I'm controlling the head side arm, I'm just going to take advantage of the spaces available to me. I can drive the point of my shoulder, draw this hand back, and come out at an angle. Even with Steve's weight on me and him trying to play the game, it can still be accomplished. Okay. What did I do there as I popped out? Underhook. Okay. I need to hold the angle. Okay. I need to hold the angle. 3 ways that's possible when I come up. The most obvious one is just taking my arm, pivoting on that elbow, and now I have an underhook. This will stop me from getting to the back. The other thing I could do is an overhook, if for some reason that's what came up, or anchoring the arm on a 2-on-1. One of those 3 things to make sure my back doesn't get taken. Okay? We start here. And we go right into his escape. Right into his escape. Come on. You're making me do it again. Right over the shoulder. There you go. Yep. Go right over your shoulder. Draw that arm back. There you go. Yeah, that's beautiful. Purple belt level at least. Okay. So we can just kind of work this one at your leisure. Feel it. Partner, like maybe start increasingly putting weight on them. So you can see you could hold that space to make this escape happen. Okay? Because it's just my body. It can't get any flatter than that as long as I'm doing the right things. I'm drawing this back, going over the point of the shoulder, bringing my legs out. And you notice too, there's this point of threading that needle with the foot, as opposed to going over that way. I run my feet out so I can turn and face. Cool? Questions? With many of my students, I like to create what I call the Bane moment. Who's seen The Dark Knight Rises? Yes. Right? When I'm on bottom, I'll do this to my students too, just to shame them. I'll just stay, I just lay, go ahead, take a seat, whatever you want, right? And then we start playing, and I just hit them with the question. Do you feel in charge? That's the Bane moment. If you hit the Bane moment, you're doing this right, okay? It's going to take practice and lots of failure, trust me. And it still doesn't work against anybody. I could take cigarette machine out here and put him on top of me, and it would be embarrassing, okay? So just know that, and it takes a lot of practice, right? So I'm going to commercial some of this, then I'm going to get to kind of worst case scenario and how I like to deal with that, okay? I can be near wrist focused, meaning I'm here and I just grab Steve's wrist. This can be wrist control or like Dylan did yesterday, where I kind of roll and I get onto the sleeve, right? And just keeping this kind of punched out, right? There's great things that can happen when I isolate a limb just like this. Do you feel me giving you Kung Fu death grip? No. Okay, go ahead and break my grip if you can, right? As you're still trying to control. Now, run around north-south or do something silly. Okay. Just controlling the wrist opens doors for things like that, for things like grabbing a Kimura grip. Now, I don't care about finishing a Kimura, but I do love this control. And when I get control from here, what I like to do is I actually lock both my arms out and bend both my wrists like a motorcycle. And I'll just let them do whatever they want. The beauty of being in bottom side is that my feet and hips are generally free. If you were here last year, I addressed this. I don't like playing side mount traditionally. I like getting on the legs and controlling their hips through their legs. There's an advantage to be had if I can get here and my hips are free. Okay, I can create lots of different opportunities off of that grip. You can go, if they really posture out of this or anything, but I can cover the back and I can come up and I can play octopus. I love octopus. Okay, I like getting here. How's my base posture structure? It's excellent. My head's higher than his. My chances of winning a scramble situation are better, right? And this can be just posturing him over, right? This can be like working into, you know, a full octopus situation. I can reverse my octopus. All kinds of fun stuff. I'll play far wrist. This is a little bit more just silly, okay? But getting this wrist, underhooking here, and then using that to create stupid things like wrist locks. Yes. Working this to this kind of stuff, right? Those are your bane moments. Let's talk about worst case scenario though. Meaning crossface underhook and I'm pinned, right? What we know about this position and what we know Steve wants to help keep me here. What do I need to start affecting? Okay, because does Steve have inside position? Yes. Okay, I need to start getting inside position, back. So one way to accomplish that, both my arms are out of the game right now. I need to get them back in, at least one. Check it out. Okay, does this look like much? Okay, what I've created here is a shelf. Okay, and Steve wants to stop all movement. So I need to break the inertia. And I will do this because my feet are free to plant, my hips are free to move. Use that. Watch. That might happen. I didn't want it to happen, but that might happen. Chances are he's gonna have to let go of something, which gives me opportunity. Now look. Okay, don't give me so much room. Watch the space. I latch on, I connect. He has to move with me. I have the ability to plant my feet and move athletically. I'm gonna bridge him up and over. Now I draw that arm in. Now I have something, okay? It starts disrupting his control, okay? I'm just moving my hips side to side until something becomes available. If I can get this, I can get this. If I can get this, I can get this. If I can get that, I can get that. Now where are we? We're back in the game, okay? So option one, connect, bridge. Now I've got something going, okay? If he tries to just hold crossface underhook, I'll take it. He has to kind of let go and start spreading out, which creates openings. If I find no success, he's just too tight with everything, I might have to look for something else. I can't get his hand to my chest. Maybe I could pummel to the far hip. Now it's about beating the crossface. Hold me down. I gotta go this way. And I come up on top. That can lead to all kinds of fun stuff.
Ghost.
So two methods that we'll play with for this last block. One, just getting some semblance of inside position back. Connect, keep him tight so he moves with me. Draw this in, put him on the shelf. Okay. Two, beat the crossface with the far side underhook. Come out the back door. Hey, just one point on this, like, thank you, Ari, thank you, Jason. Thank you to all the other cadre, all the other black belts in the room. Like, this is amazing. I would like to echo Chad's statement is like, when I started this career, I couldn't have even imagined anything like this, really. I was like a mythical rare creature showing up to the DT instructor courses. They're like, where'd you learn to do that? Because they were like worried about, you know, straight arm bars and I just fight people, and they're like, how do I? And then of course none of them ever got on board. But man, it's incredible what a movement like this can do. And yeah, we're seeing like slow progress, but it's important that we network, we keep doing things like this, we keep working with one another, helping each other out with our problems. And you know, I've faced it too, where not only are you fighting the administration, but you're fighting the students that show up to class. You're fighting the old guard that will not let go, and they come up with every reason in the book why none of this is valuable. You know, but hey, they can only hold on for so long. We're going to keep pushing. This is going to get bigger and bigger, and you know, it's awesome that everybody's here doing this. If I can ever be of assistance to anybody, please hit me up. If you want to come join the King County Sheriff's Office. No, King County Sheriff's Office. No, I am here on their dime because they believe in sending me to do things like this. So I'm getting paid to be here with you all right now. So that's why I feel like I need to kind of throw a little bit back, come join the department. Don't worry about it. I get $5,000 if you make it through probation. But use the name. Yeah. But thank you, everybody. Awesome.